Hello, my name is Nathan June, and this is my presentation on sport in Northeast Asia. The topics that I will discuss are geography, demographics, the country's backgrounds, the role of sport, sport in China, sport in Japan, and sport in South Korea, the governance of sport, non-governmental sports agencies, professional sport, and major sports events. Uh, First, we'll discuss the geography. The region of Northeast Asia includes China, Japan, North Korea, South Korea, Mongolia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. And it's a diverse region with a mix of coastal, landlocked, and island countries. Now to talk about the demographics. This region is home to over 1.57 billion people, and it makes up about 20% of the world's population. China is the most populous country in this region, and they also have the largest landmass. Japan and South Korea are highly developed, and they are known for their innovation and technology. And Mongolia is more rural and sparsely populated, while North Korea remains isolated under a dictatorship. Now for the background. Japan, China, and South Korea all have GDPs in the trillions, which makes them global powerhouses. Their urbanization in major cities like Beijing, Tokyo, and Seoul serve as hubs for sporting events and infrastructure. In contrast, countries like Mongolia and North Korea have much smaller economies, which is one way that their sporting development is limited on the global stage. Now to talk about the role of sport. Um, Sport in this region goes beyond recreation. They use it as a powerful diplomatic and political tool. Countries like China, Japan, and South Korea use sport as a soft power to build international relationships and develop diplomacy. And Olympic success is a major focus, which is often backed by significant government investment. Continuing on the role of sport, traditional martial arts remain culturally significant as they have throughout this region's history. But modern sports like baseball and football are also very popular. In these countries, sporting success is tied to national pride and is a symbol of their country's progress. Now to talk about sport in China. They use sport as a tool for national pride and global recognition, and their government invests heavily in the development of their sports. They take pride in their Olympic medal count, which has risen significantly since the 1980s. And in this country, sport is very intertwined with their political and nationalistic goals. Continuing on the sport of China, the state plays a pivotal role in funding and organizing sport. They have a lot of global ambitions with sport, which was shown in them hosting major events such as the 2008 Beijing Olympics. And they have government systems in place like this one, which translates to the whole nation system. These help to support and drive the development of their elite athletes. Now talking about the sport in Japan. Um, they have a history of integrating sports and athletics into their education and everyday lives. This is because they see sport as a resource for character development and social harmony, in addition to the physical development. And the Japan Sports Association, as well as other governing bodies, are what oversee both amateur and professional sports. Continuing on the sport in Japan, Tokyo, Japan has hosted the Olympics in 1964 and also in 2021. They utilize these types of global events to promote their national identity and increase their international engagement and recognition in the sporting world. Their government supports sport development through funding as well as certain policies. And corporations also play a significant role in sponsoring and developing sports. Now for the sport in South Korea. They also emphasize their success in international competitions like the Olympics. And similarly to China, they use a centralized sports system for the development of their athletes. And the government provides a lot of support with policy as well as funding for sports through the Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism. In South Korea, since their hosting of the 1988 Olympics, their performance has improved drastically in the Olympics. There's also a successful professional sports scene, particularly baseball and football. And universities and corporations play a large role in contributing to the development of athletes in South Korea. Now to talk about the governance of sport. Governance varies across the region, but it usually involves both government and non-governmental organizations. An example of this is the General Administration of Sport of China, which oversees national training programs and all sporting events. In Japan and South Korea, the structure is more collaborative, which involves independent agencies that manage talent development and international cooperation. The countries that are in Northeast Asia are successful in sport, have these effective systems of governance that maintains their growth and development. Non-governmental sports agencies in China. First is the All China Sports Federation, which acts as like an organization that covers everything, and they coordinate national sport organizations. The Chinese Olympic Committee oversees elite sport and Olympic-related activities. The China Sports Science Society focuses on sport development and research. And these organizations can seem governmental in their nature, despite their label of being non-governmental. Now for the non-governmental sports agencies in Japan. First, the Japanese Olympic Committee. They oversee and coordinate the Olympic and elite sport activities. The Japan Sport Association focuses on grassroots sport development, and they manage national sport federations. The Japan Para Sports Association is their disability sports agency, and the Japan Anti-Doping Agency is how they prevent doping in sports through anti-doping regulations. Now for non-governmental sports agencies in South Korea, the Korean Sport and Olympic Committee, they also oversee their Olympic and elite sport activity. The Korea Council of Sport for All is what they use to promote mass physical activity and sport participation for their entire population. And then similarly to Japan, they have the Korea Anti-Doping Agency, which oversees the effort to prevent doping in sports. Now to talk about professional sport in this region. Professional sports have grown rapidly. Japan led the way with Nippon Professional Baseball, which dates back to the 1930s. South Korea followed in the 1980s with professional football and baseball leagues, and then China introduced pro sports with football in the 1990s. Today, all three countries have thriving professional leagues in multiple sports, and this is a way that shows how deeply sports have been integrated into their culture. Some of the professional sports leagues are, like I mentioned, the Nippon Professional Baseball in Japan, which was baseball was first introduced professionally in Japan, and then this league was established in 1950. The Korea Baseball Organization, or the KBO, was established in 1982. The Chinese Professional Baseball League in Taiwan in 1990, and the Korea Professional Football League in 1983, and Chinese Super League in 2004, and the Japan Professional Football League in 1993. Each of these leagues is a way that they can draw large audiences to their sports and contribute to the region's sporting identity and as well as economy. Some of the major sports events in this region. There's been a multitude of major international sports events hosted in this region. Japan was the first country in this region to host the Asian Games in 1958, and they were also the first of this region to host the Olympics in 1964. South Korea hosted the Summer Olympics in 1988, and then them and Japan collaborated on hosting the 2002 FIFA World Cup. The Beijing Summer Olympics in 2008 were hosted by China. Continuing on major sports events, the Asian Games is a multi-sport event that's held every 4 years for the region, and it's been hosted by China, Japan, and South Korea. The Winter Olympics has also seen it being hosted in this region multiple times. Hosting this event, what it does is it helps the countries of this region develop their sport infrastructure and global recognition. And they are also beneficial as a tool for their diplomacy and international image. Sport in Northeast Asia plays an incredibly important role, not just for entertainment or fitness, but diplomacy, national identity, and their global standing. Through investments, professional leagues, and the international hosting of events, they have made sport a central part of their development, global image, as well as culture. Thank you for listening.